Welcome to Inside Gaming. I'm Brian. It's weekend roundup time. So obviously the big news this week is that Sony acquired Bungie, yet another gaming company acquired by one of the big boys. Bungie acquired for reportedly $3.6 billion. So now basically Sony has bought the right to listen to everybody complain about Destiny 2. So congratulations to Sony. That is money well spent. I bet you will not regret this at all. So obviously this means that the gaming industry is further consolidating, and it's happening really fast too. It comes on the heel of Microsoft, of course, announcing their $69 billion nice acquisition of Activision Blizzard. Before that, Take-Two Interactive bought Zynga for $11 billion. Previously, those had been the biggest. That's how fast this is moving. So the big fish are getting bigger and the little fish are getting eaten. So that brings us to the question of today's video. As Goldberg used to say, who's next? So let's talk about it. Now, it's worth talking about this because Sony is explicitly saying they're going to buy more stuff. PlayStation boss Jim Ryan told GamesIndustry.biz recently, we should absolutely expect more acquisitions. We are by no means done. Pretty obvious there. So let's get into it. One of the obvious choices for Sony that has been thrown around is Konami. It's got big name IP like Castlevania, Metal Gear, Silent Hill. Then there's Square Enix. They are home of legendary IP, Final Fantasy, Dragon Quest, Kingdom Hearts, and of course, Saga Frontier. Saga Frontier games, I'm just saying. Both of those would be bigger acquisitions than Bungie though. Konami has an estimated market cap of $7.3 billion. Square Enix a little bit smaller at $6.1 billion, but they both do seem like they would be a fit at Sony, which has been focused on experiences. They talked about that a lot recently. And in Square Enix's case, they currently run the best MMO around, Final Fantasy XIV. People have also talked about Capcom possibly being acquired. It's the home of a ton of stuff. Resident Evil, Monster Hunter, Street Fighter, Mega Man, Devil May Cry, all really good stuff. It's about the same size as those other two. It's about $5.3 billion. And of course, the beloved Sega, whose holding company is worth around $4 billion. Now, moving outside of Japan, some people have wondered about Ubisoft, sorry. They are worth about $7.2 billion, and acquiring them would get you Assassin's Creed, Far Cry, Just Dance, all the Tom Clancy stuff. They have been very resistant to takeovers in the past, but Ubisoft is also in a weak state right now after a lot of sexual misconduct scandals, just like Activision Blizzard was. So stranger things have happened. Stranger things have already happened. Stranger things are happening as we speak. There's also CD Projekt Red. It's around $4.46 billion. They've got The Witcher. They've got GOG. But then you'd also get Cyberpunk 2077, and you'd have to try to make that a good game. So maybe more trouble than it's worth. On the smaller side, there's Remedy Entertainment. They made Control, Max Payne, Alan Wake. They have been rumored for years as a takeover target. Their market cap about 483 million euros. So if it's in the millions at this point, it's a really small fish. They're definitely in that range of a smaller dev that could get acquired. All right, so those are the small and smallish companies. Let's talk about the big boys, and the biggest boy, of course, EA. It is a beast valued around 38 billion market cap, but if Microsoft bought Activision Blizzard, they could also afford EA. You would think that would get you a ton of stuff as well. Then there's Take-Two Interactive. They own 2K, they own Rockstar, now Zynga, market cap of 19 billion, probably too big for Sony. Obviously not Microsoft, as we've seen. Bandai Namco, also another possibility. They got Elden Ring coming out soon. They also published Tales of Arise, that whole series. They have a huge roster. Dark Souls, Tekken, Soul Calibur, Gundam, Pac-Man. Remember Pac-Man? Well, it was huge back in the day. Bandai Namco, estimated market cap $16 billion. So a lot of big targets. Maybe Ubisoft, they seem maybe likely at this point if they could come to some deal, if they're weak enough to where they're like, let's just sell it and we can get a premium from either of these guys. Another interesting choice, they're not huge, but they're very influential, the indie publisher Devolver Digital. They're based here in Austin. They have made a ton of good stuff. Inscription was them recently. They published that. Devolver's traded on the London Stock Exchange. It's valued at about 866 million pounds. That definitely puts it in acquisition range. Don't forget too, Tencent is out there too. They're massive. They totally own Riot Games. Maybe they want to buy some stuff too. And we've also seen Amazon, Apple, Google. They've been making forays into gaming. Maybe they want to acquire some stuff. Now, none of them have been super successful yet with their own stuff. Stadia, Well, I don't have to say. Apple Arcade has had some good stuff, but it hasn't had like super wide adoption. Amazon, they've had New World. I think from what I gather, it hasn't really set the world on fire. So none of them have been super successful yet, but Phil Spencer has said he views those other tech giants as their real competition. So maybe Microsoft is doing these moves defensively to try to prevent other big boys from getting more of a foothold into the gaming industry. And then maybe under that scenario, Microsoft just lets PlayStation and Nintendo survive out of the goodness of its heart, and it makes a little walled garden for them to play in. And then Microsoft is just this giant tech overlord just over gaming. Like Amazon has retail, Microsoft has gaming, Facebook has your parents being racist. I mean, everybody's got their own sphere of influence. I don't know. Anyway, it's a strange and not necessarily good future that we're in right now. It's not really the future. It's here. All right, we'll get to the rest of the stories in just a second. But first, guys, let's talk about Purple. We've all been worried about our quality of sleep lately. There's a million methods. There's meditation, there's yoga, there's mattress toppers, but no matter what, if you're sleeping on a bad mattress, your sleep is going to be terrible. That's why I recommend sleeping on a Purple mattress. And I really do, because only Purple mattresses have the Gel Flex Grid. It's a super stretchy, ultra squishy material that adapts and flexes and doesn't retain heat. It's supportive of your back and legs while cushioning your shoulders, neck, and hips. Memory foam, it remembers everything. Maybe too much, but Purple's Gel Flex Grid bounces back as you move and shift, so you never have that I'm stuck feeling again. I have a Purple mattress. It is great. It is so supportive. I've been trying to run to get in shape. I do about 5 miles 3 times a week. So I need to sleep and recover, and a good mattress helps you do that. Purple has been great. I've never slept this good in my life. Don't skimp on a few things. That's my philosophy. You don't skip on ketchup. You don't skip on toilet paper. Don't skimp on a mattress. You spend a third of your life. I don't know. It's really important. So here's what you got to do, guys. Getting a great night's sleep starts with having a great mattress. Get a Purple mattress. Go to purple.com/roundup10 and use code roundup10. For a limited time, you can get 10% off any order of $200 or more. That's purple.com/roundup10, code roundup10 for 10% off any order of $200 or more. Purple.com/roundup10, promo code roundup10. Terms apply. On to the rest of the stories. Developer and publisher Team 17, they're best known for the Worms games, Overcooked. They announced this week that they would get into NFTs in a project called MetaWorms. It was described as a generative NFT art project that would be, quote, giving fans the chance to own a unique piece of video game memorabilia. And it's gone already. It's done. Yeah, a lot of the developers under Team 17 were furious about their experimenting with NFTs, which are very controversial because they're a scam. That's why they're a scam. Ghost Town Games, which makes Overcooked, spoke out against the move, saying they'll never use them in their game, saying, we don't support NFTs. We think they carry too great an environmental and social cost. Playtonic Games, which of course does ukulele, wrote that they had no interest in utilizing NFTs in any aspect of our business now or in the future. And Aggro Crab, which developed Going Under, condemned Team 17's decision, putting it succinctly, I hate it here. Those guys are great. And just like that, it was over. Team 17 announced they were pulling the plug, saying, we have listened to our Teamsters, development partners, and our games communities and the concerns they've expressed, and therefore have taken the decision to step back from the NFT space. Of course, we're seeing NFTs creep up more and more. They're like the 2022 equivalent of microtransactions. Ubisoft is experimenting with them. Square Enix has said they're totally interested. I'm sure more will follow. But for now, it's nice to see a small victory. Let's take a second to enjoy it. Okay, moving on. If you've been on Twitter lately, you've noticed everyone posting their Wordle scores. I personally play, but I do not post because I'm a good person. Well, the popular word game has been bought by Microsoft, Sony? Nope, the New York Times. The old gray lady bought it from Josh Wordle, its creator, for the low 7 figures. They said the acquisition reflects the growing importance of games. They got the crossword puzzle, they got the spelling bee. Basically, they're trying to get their digital subscriptions to 10 million by 2025. Troublingly, the Times said the game would initially, doing a lot of work there initially, remain free to to new and existing players. In a post, Wordle, the creator, he's a software engineer in Brooklyn, said the Time's values align with his, and he said, "I'm thrilled that they will be stewards of the game moving forward." He can afford a lot of IPAs in Brooklyn for that money. He also said he'll be working with the Times to make sure our wins and our win streaks will be preserved. Thank you. The U.S. Federal Trade Commission will be handling the antitrust review into Microsoft's acquisition of Activision Blizzard. Bloomberg reported the news. They said they'll investigate whether the purchase will harm competition. Usually the U.S. Justice Department looks into these, but sometimes the FTC does, and Bloomberg said the FTC is usually more aggressive in policing these things. Last year, they sued to block NVIDIA's acquisition of chip manufacturer ARM. So there's a chance they could try to block it. Honestly, I would not hold your breath. Microsoft can afford more lawyers. That's just how it goes. Pokemon legend Arceus is doing very well sales-wise in the UK. Christopher Dring at gamesindustry.biz tweeted that the game had a massive launch in the UK. He added, "It's the fourth, all caps, fourth biggest Pokemon launch of all time, just ahead of Black and White and last year's Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl." He didn't give specific numbers, and that is retail only, doesn't include digital. Still though, Pokemon Legends Arceus been doing well with critics and fans alike who seem to appreciate the new mechanics and gameplay, so it looks like the Switch has a much needed exclusive to start the year. All right, time for a 5-second review. I love the game, but at this point, I need more choices in the character creator. Can I get like a 45-year-old who has trouble reading the small type? All right, let's talk about the games coming out next week. First up, Ollie Ollie World is a bold new skateboarding action platformer that's bursting with personality. Flip and flow through the vivid and vibrant world of Radlandia, meeting colorful characters as you grind, trick, and air your way to discover the mystical skate gods on your quest for Nirvana. It comes to PC, PS5, Xbox Series X, Xbox One, and Switch, and the PS4. Sorry, forgot y'all. February 8th, Sifu is the new game from Slow Clap. They are the independent studio behind Absolver. It's a third-person action game featuring intense hand-to-hand combat, puts you in control of a young kung fu student on a path of revenge. Comes to PC, PS5, and PS4 February 8th. Unbound Worlds Apart. Summon portals to overcome vicious beasts, devious puzzles, and fiendish platforming challenges. Master the unique powers of each portal to stop the collapse of reality while exploring lush, hand-drawn worlds and unraveling a deep narrative full of mysteries. Comes to PS5 and PS4 February 9th, and Xbox Series X and Xbox One February 11th. About an elf join forces with Dam, the magical princess of all elves, and her incorrigible apprentice, Roland the Brave Cat, as they fight to save the universe from the King of Terrors and his army of evil monsters. Comes to Switch February 10th. Crossfire X, a legendary PC franchise, comes to Xbox in a fast-paced first-person shooter, offering a variety of exhilarating multiplayer experiences and a cinematic campaign that explores the global conflict between the world's two most formidable private military factions. Comes to Xbox Series X and Xbox One February 10th. Edge of Eternity, wage epic turn-based battles as you follow Darian and Celine on their quest to find a cure to the all-consuming corrosion in this grand tale of hope and sacrifice created by a small team of passionate JRPG lovers. Comes to PS5, Xbox Series X, PS4, and Xbox One February 10th. Eglia Rebirth, faced with imminent destruction, Eglia's ruler and its most powerful wizard Cup sealed his precious kingdom away inside a magical egg. There Eglia remained, kept safe from strife and harm, waiting for the right time to be set free once more. It's here that the story begins, with a faithful encounter between a girl born to save the world and a red-capped boy born to destroy it. With the crossing of their paths, a new legend is born. Comes to the Switch February 10th. Oh, a bunch of Kingdom Hearts games are coming to the Switch. There's Kingdom Hearts HD 1.5 and 2.5 Remix Cloud versions. There's HD 2.8 Final Chapter Prologue Cloud version. There's Kingdom Hearts 3 plus Remind DLC Cloud version, and the Kingdom Hearts Integrum Masterpiece Cloud version. They all come to the Switch February 10th. And last but not least, Lost Ark. Embark on an odyssey for the Lost Ark in a vast, vibrant world. Explore new lands, seek out lost treasures, and test yourself in thrilling action combat in this action-packed free-to-play RPG. It comes to the PC February 11th. That's all the news I got for you this week, guys. Hope you're having a great weekend. We'll see you soon.